He's been a leading light in campaigning effectively and creatively against the government's welfare reforms and exposing the devastating impact they would have on disabled people. Please, a warm welcome for TUC March.
Friends, every last one of you marching today believe in one thing more than any other: justice. You couldn't sit at home while injustice and exploitation are closing in on us wherever we look. You are the faces here today of so many millions more who are shocked and frightened by the careless way this coalition of clowns are ripping our communities apart. But there's a casual cruelty taking place that is so inhumane, so calculating, right now, here in the UK in 2012, that it shames us all. When you get home tonight, home to every corner of our nation, tired but exhilarated, weary but filled with pride, when you see the vast, defiant crowd speaking with one voice, I beg you to remember this. For every one of you who marched today, a seriously ill or disabled person will lose the disability living allowance they rely on to live with dignity and a little security. This Parliament of fools use numbers lightly. They count their losses in billions, their debt in trillions, those thrown on the scrap heap of their incompetent policies in millions. But this here today is what 500,000 people look like. But there's more, 1 million more, twice as many as marching here today, will be reassessed by the French IT company Atos as fit for work. Their only income stripped away on the hunch of a few millionaires. Every single report or committee or inquiry into work capability assessments have found them unfit for purpose. Coroners are reporting this reform terror as cause of death. Doctors demand WCAs are withdrawn immediately. Appeal tribunals warn that they are swamped to crisis point and beyond. Hundreds of thousands of profoundly disabled children will see their support cut by an impossible 50%, while Osborne's Bullingdon budget gave millionaires £40,000 extra each. The Independent Living Fund scrapped, severe disability premiums scrapped, social care packages slashed. They're not numbers, Mr. Cameron, they're lives. They are our mothers, our brothers, our daughters and sons. Disease or disability can strike anyone at any time. We are the sick and disabled people of the UK, so under threat, and urgently crying for help against the wind like a drowning man. And so I'd like to leave you with the words of Edward Burke. Justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. Please, stand with us, speak out with us, we need you. Please get outraged, because sick and disabled people in the UK need you as never before.
Well said. Thank you, Sue. I think that says it all. Go on, Len.
Thanks, James. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. It's been a long day already. Fantastic to see so many people here, and I want to begin by thanking all of you for making the effort. You know, the media have been asking me on this march, why are we marching? Why? Well, we're marching for our future. We're marching for a Britain that we know we can have. A Britain of full employment. A Britain of social justice. A Britain where money is spent properly to care for our elderly and for our sick. And a Britain that gives hope to our young people. A Britain that leads to the alternative that we are fighting for. That alternative of jobs and growth. To make certain that we have an economy and a society that puts people before profits. But comrades, we're also marching against something. We're marching against this millionaire government who are deaf to the protests and to the suffering of their people, but are all too ready to listen to the cackle of the rich who demand tax cuts. We're marching against the whole rotten elite who are responsible for this crisis and take us from one scandal to the next, wasting money on wars while pushing millions into poverty and trying to destroy our National Health Service. And we're marching, brothers and sisters, against Wonder Britain, the paid loan sharks which have become the symbol of this government, the Tea Party Tories who are trying to rip our nation apart, where Save the Children for the first time are having to help our kids, and where thousands of people are actually having to rely on food banks to survive in one of the richest countries in the world. What a disgrace and what a shame. And sisters and brothers, the problem is that it will get worse. When the horrific welfare cuts bite in April, the situation will be even worse. But we should take heart from this demonstration today, because we represent millions and millions of people, ordinary working people, the 99% who want an alternative, who know that there is an alternative, who say to us, let's tackle the tax dodgers, let's invest in manufacturing and house building, let's bring banks under proper public control, let's freeze energy prices, let's boost the minimum wage by £1 an hour. In short, let's go for growth that fills the needs of the people and avoids the errors and the crimes of the neoliberal past. But sisters and brothers, you know and I know that we won't get what we want simply by asking. That's why last month at the TUC, a motion was passed calling for the TUC to consult on a general strike. To look, sisters and brothers, to look at the practicality. So I say, let's start that consultation here today. Are you prepared to take strike action to save our community? Sisters and brothers, are you prepared for a general strike? Let's see a show of hands. Yeah, that's carried. Sisters and brothers, have the courage so that we can rise like lions and fight for a better world. Good luck.
Can I start by thanking Fern McCaffrey for the great speech she just gave. Please put your hands together for Fern McCaffrey. I'm here today to join with people from all walks of life, from all parts of this country who have come to this gathering today. Think about the faces in this crowd. We've got young people looking for work, like Ashley Parsons from Wolverhampton, who you saw on the film. Let us say today, we stand for all the young people in this country who want work but can't find it in Britain today. We have nurses here determined to fight for the future of our National Health Service. Let us say that we stand with them, men and women, who want to defend our National Health Service in Britain today. We have construction workers with us today, like Colin Roach from Greater Manchester, recently laid off. Let us say we stand with him and people right across British business who say they want an economy that works for them. And we
have with us today off-duty police officers, let us say we stand with them as they seek to protect frontline services and seek to protect their communities. And I tell you this, none of these people think that Britain owes them a living. None of these people are asking for the earth. They just have a simple request. They want a Britain that works for them. They believe we do better as one nation, public and private sectors working together, north and south, trade unions and British business, but they do not see that future under this government. Instead, they see a government dividing our country. You know, Andrew Mitchell may have resigned, but the culture of two nations runs right across this government. They cut taxes for millionaires and they raise taxes for ordinary families. They leave young people out of work while the bonuses of the banks carry on. You know, they even have a Chancellor of the Exchequer who tries to travel first class on a standard class ticket. In this government, it's one rule for those at the top and it's another rule for everybody else. Who plays their part and does the right thing. The trouble with this government is that while they thought they were born to rule, it turns out they are not very good at it. You know, a few weeks ago I asked, have you ever seen a more incompetent, hopeless, U-turning, pledge-breaking, make it up as you go along, incompetent shower than this Prime Minister and this government? And what have they done since? They've tried to prove me right. That is what they have done. Just this week, David Cameron tried to keep his chief whip, even though the rest of us could see he had to go. He made up an energy policy on Wednesday without any idea of how he could deliver it. And he clings to an economic plan that isn't working. He is a weak and clueless Prime Minister governing this country.
Absolutely! Get him out!
And you know, they're not just incompetent. Their old answers don't work anymore. Trickle-down economics, cutting rights at work. David Cameron calls it the sink or swim society. You don't build a successful country with sink or swim. You do it by building one nation. And that is what a Labour government will do.
One fucking nation. Now of course, there will still be hard choices, and with borrowing rising, not falling, I do not promise easy times. You know, it's right that we level with people, that there would still be hard choices. I said whoever was in government now, there would be some cuts, but this government has cutting too far and too fast. Self-defeating austerity is not the answer. It is not the answer to Britain's problems. We will make different but fairer choices, including on pay and jobs. What are you going to do?
Here is what we would do. Day one, with me as Prime Minister, we start to give all of our young people a stake in the future. We tax the bankers' bonuses and we put our young people working again in Britain. We build 100,000 homes and we get construction workers working again. We end the privatisation experiment in the NHS and we repeal the...
across Britain. I pledge instead of a country that serves its banks, we have once again banks that serve this country. And I tell you this, I would never cut taxes for millionaires and raise taxes for everybody else as this government is doing in this country. One nation is a country where those with the greatest shoulders bear the broadest burden. One nation is a country where we give hope to our young people again. One nation is a country where we defend and improve institutions like our National Health Service. One nation is a country united, not divided. A future that works. A future that Britain builds together. Thank you very much.
TUC and the trade union movement, I want to thank you for turning out in your tens of thousands. I want to thank you for defending your workplaces and communities. And I want to thank you for standing up against the tax dodgers, the greedy bankers and this government. Thank you. In sending a message to this government, stop your austerity! Now we know why we're here. The government is trying to divide this country between the rich and the rest. They're hurting our children and our families and they're wrecking our economy. You know, at Conservative Party conference, David Cameron said he wanted to spread privilege. Well, we know what he's spreading and it doesn't smell good. And what about his neighbour at number 11? We're here because we want a future that works. All we'll ever get from George Osborne is a future that smirks. And I've got something that I want to say to George Osborne. Don't you tell us, don't you dare tell us that unemployment is the fault of young people.
Damn right.
It's not young people's fault that you've been slashing public service jobs. It's not young people's fault that you abolished the EMA, and it's not young people's fault that you've tripled university tuition fees. And if George Osborne won't even sit in a rail carriage with the rest of us, then let's tell him this. Get on your bike!
Absolutely.
I'm going to be taken over as General Secretary, and I just want to promise you this. I will fight as hard for our people as that lot fight for theirs. Because there is a better way. Fair taxes, fair pay, clean rent, decent jobs. So stay strong, stay safe, united, we will win. Thank you.